Mark Meirowitz, who's a political analyst. He's also a professor at State University of New York Maritime College. Tom, out of the corner of my eye, I could see you shaking your head while Tom was speaking. Sorry, were you shaking your head about what he was saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't accept what he was saying, not at all. A personal point, I'm a Republican, and I voted for President Trump. Okay, I confess on TRT World television. And I completely 1000% disagree with what he's saying. First of all, why would we go to a politician to advise us on what we should do in the biggest pandemic in the history of this world since the 1918 flu? Why would a politician make an advice for what people should be doing when this is killing people? And I am shocked. He advocates that people should go fishing, people should hang out. And these protests, in my opinion, are politically motivated. I'm just looking at President Trump's tweets where he wants to liberate Virginia, Michigan, and Minnesota, which coincidentally, Adnan, are three key states for his presidential election. Your guest is obviously trying to hold on to the strings of the president's campaign in order to win office, and that's fine, but not in a crisis where people are dying. Politics doesn't belong here. Politics needs to be expunged from this discussion. And yes, we need to speak to Dr. Fauci. By the way, Dr. Fauci is believed by all segments of the society, right, left, middle. He is the credibility person. He's a scientist with 40 years experience. He's worked on many, many epidemics. He's an expert, and I listen to him. And by the way, the message we're getting from the federal government is so confusing that we really need to listen to our governors. I'm a New Yorker. I happen to be in New Jersey now. I'm listening to Governor Cuomo. I'm listening to Governor Murphy to guide me because I know they're protecting me. And they're not using politics. You know, Cuomo said the other day, I'm not seeking any offices. I'm doing my job. I'm here to do my job. That's what the president should be doing. And by the way, the Wall Street Journal, which is the bastion of republicanism, the bastion of right-wing politics, of conservative politics, criticized the president for his ongoing diatribes and attacks on the press. And they advised that he should come in, say hello, and go back to his office and let Vice President Pence run this show, and Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx. We are not fooling around here. This is not a joke. People are dying. And I know friends of mine, people I know, are in the hospital and they're sick and people have died. So this is not just a joke about going fishing. And by the way, I notice if you look at the protesters, they're standing there. Most of them don't even have masks. Don't have masks, don't have gloves. You know, they opened up Florida, the beaches, and people ran to the beaches and filled up the beaches. And a friend of ours just texted my wife to say they got tired of sitting at home up in Westchester, so they went down to New York to Central Park, and guess what? It was crowded. Now, how are we going to stop this situation? We know that it grows in crowds, that it's dangerous to be in crowds. This is a life or death situation. So I absolutely am appalled by politicians using this issue as a political matter. It is totally inappropriate, unacceptable. Yes, people can protest. It's a free country. But please, please, they should protect themselves. They should wear masks. And they should stop this political discussion, which is politically motivated. I don't accept the idea that the scientists are wrong or right. The scientists are desperate. Doctors are desperate. Hospitals are desperate, not just the United States, in Turkey, around the world, in England. The Prime Minister of England, UK, was in the hospital. This is serious threat. We need to sit down, we need to think about it and listen to the scientists and listen to the governors. This is how I feel.
Mark, you say it shouldn't be politicized. There won't be anybody who disagrees with you. So why is the President of the United States, who has the best possible medium to be able to speak to people who won't listen to anybody else, why is he standing there afternoon after afternoon saying, I'm not a doctor, but take hydroxychloroquine, which now around the world tests have shown is dangerous for patients.
Yes.
Some countries have banned it completely. Why is he saying to people, do A, B, C, but I'm not a doctor, And then, when very sensitive questions are asked, he doesn't allow Dr. Fauci or another expert to actually answer it and says, you know what, we've already covered that, let's move along. He's politicizing it, is he not? And is he doing that because it suits his purpose, because it distracts from what's actually happening and the lack of action from the federal government? Is that a fair analysis?
Well, it's a perfect on-point analysis, but you have to add on one thing, which is very important. We're sitting here in the summer. There's an election coming in November, and Joe Biden is the candidate, okay? The Democratic Party has united around Biden, which was a tricky thing because Bernie Sanders stepped aside. So the Democrats are united against the president. And what about the president's base? Okay, the president's base is there. I'm reading the tweets from his base, and some of it is just unacceptable in the sense that Republicans, and I assure you, I speak to Republicans as well as Democrats, are getting tired of hearing the president. I'm saying the Wall Street Journal. That is like the Mount Olympus of Republican politics, telling the president to stop going to these conferences. Why is that? Well, they also are concerned about the political part as well. The economy is in trouble. Our economy is in trouble. And that was the major boon and the major support of Trump in his ability to get reelected. Now that's a game changer and it's over. The economy is basically in a downturn. The market, yes, the market is up and down. But basically, unemployment is over the roof. Small businesses are closing, okay? This is a pandemic. And what he's trying to do is shore up his support in order to get reelected. Why is he picking to liberate Virginia, Michigan, and Minnesota? As I said before, these were key states. He lost Minnesota. He barely won Michigan in the last election. He's looking again only at the Electoral College and how he can win. And that is totally inappropriate. By the way, he also vacillates. One day he says that the president is in total control. Okay, your Courtney Keeley commented on that prior to this broadcast, and there's no such thing in the Constitution. And then he vacillates when he gets pushback and goes like, the governor should handle it. That makes very convenient to say that the governor should handle the testing when he's not providing help or testing or coordination of testing. In other words, the federal government reaction, other than Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx, has been absolutely insufficient, inefficient, and non-functional, dysfunctional. Where do we see effective leadership? In the states. In the states is where we see the leadership. He doesn't like that because it, as you say, distracts. Yes, it distracts, but it also hurts his political chances for re-election, which is his focus right now, which is the wrong focus to have in a pandemic. The focus should be, how can I have empathy for the people? How can I help the people? I'm the president. And this is woefully lacking. I'm saying this as a Republican. I'm telling you that many Republicans feel this, and he knows this. So what he's trying to do now is to create difficulty and stirring up these people. Look at the group that's protesting. It's not just, yes, he talks about the Second Amendment in Virginia. What does this have to do with the pandemic, gun rights? He's trying to find a wavelength on which these people can connect with him. And you also have in that group the anti-vaccine people. Can you imagine? There's going to be a vaccine, and there are going to be protests against the vaccine. I mean, this is lunacy in a situation, and to minimize, as your previous guest did, the death rate. And this is what they keep saying, people, I think it was Dr. Phil who was saying that more people get killed in a car accident in a year than people die of this pandemic. This pandemic, we don't know what causes it. We don't have a vaccine to stop it. We don't have a vaccine of antibodies. We don't have anything. The only thing that we have in our quiver of arrows is social distancing, wearing masks, and wearing gloves. Can you imagine? My friends went to Central Park and it's crowded. The beaches in Florida are crowded. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Mark, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much indeed. Really, really appreciate your time. Mark Meirowitz, political analyst and professor in the United States.